Can you smell what Baleroc is Baleroc is a one-phase DPS race on heroic difficulty. This is basically a standstill patchwork-style encounter, but involves some complex rotations. Baleroc has around 195 million HP, but does not spawn any ads. You'll want to bring 1 to 2 tanks, 3 or 5 healers, and a balanced DPS makeup. Like all of our heroic guides, this guide will assume that you've done the fight on the normal difficulty and as such are familiar with normal mode tactics and abilities. For more in-depth coverage of the fight as a whole, please see one of our normal mode strategy guides. Here's what's new. There are 2 key differences to the encounter on heroic difficulty. First is a new spell called Countdown. This debuff is applied simultaneously to 2 random raid members and lasts 8 seconds. Within those 8 seconds, the players must move within 4 yards of each other in order to cause the debuff to fall off harmlessly. Failing to do this fast enough will cause the Countdown debuff to explode, dealing very high fire damage to all players. The second change can be much more unnerving. On heroic difficulty only, any player who comes into contact with another player who has the Tormented debuff will receive this debuff as well. This means, if player A has Tormented and player B does not have Tormented, player A runs into player B, now players A and B both have Tormented. This can make the positioning and rotations quite dynamic and tricky during the course of the fight. The basic premise of the encounter remains the same. The tank's health and damage taken increases throughout the fight, and healers manage crystal healing to increase their healing done and keep up. There is one basic rule to keep in mind on heroic difficulty. Players with the Tormented debuff must remain away from other players until it has faded off. This is easy enough to do on its own. Unfortunately, every few seconds Baleroc will cast Countdown on 2 random players, and oftentimes one of them will have Torment or one of them will be in the middle of eating a crystal. Because of this, your raid must be prepared for different scenarios that will occur during the fight. Scenario A. Countdown goes out and neither player has Tormented or is eating a crystal. In this case, both players will come together to remove the Countdown debuff and go back to doing their jobs. Scenario B. Countdown goes out and one player has Tormented, but the other does not. In this case, the player without Tormented will run to the player with Tormented to remove the Countdown debuff. The player with Tormented does not move, as doing so may risk spreading the debuff to even more players. Scenario C. Countdown goes out and one player is eating a crystal. The player who is not on a crystal will run to the player who is. The player on the crystal cannot move because it will only risk messing up the rotation, or it can also risk wiping the raid. In addition to preparing for these scenarios, your raid must assign backup crystal eaters. In the event that one player is about to take a crystal and finds that for any number of reasons they have the Tormented debuff, they will need to call for one of the backup players to take it in their spot. This is not difficult. Just make certain that each player knows who the backups are, or assign an order to it that the backups understand themselves. For example, a DK is about to take a crystal, but sees that she has the Tormented debuff. She will call out, "Backup 1, take this crystal that spawns in 5 seconds. Whoever has been assigned as Backup 1, we like to use hunters and mages for this, will know to be ready for the next crystal spawn. Because of the random nature of Countdown, oftentimes 1 or 2 of your healers will have Tormented. Pair off your healers in a buddy system. If one healer gains Tormented, he must call for his buddy to heal the crystals instead. Tormented healers can only focus on tanks as their Vital Flame debuff will counter the effects of Tormented to a certain degree. This comes down to communication. Healers have to decide in their pairs who can keep what alive. If a healer knows they cannot heal crystals well enough, because of Tormented or low mana, they have to tell their partner to do it. Likewise, they must inform their partner when Tormented fades so that they can switch roles once again. If your raid is using 5 or more healers, then this will not be too devastating. But if your raid uses 4, having even one healer with Tormented can be very dangerous. As stated, the key to this fight is communication. Your raid will need to become familiar with multiple situations and how to efficiently handle them before you are ready to down this fight. The encounter is not based on RNG, it is simply how well you handle the combinations it gives you. If you enjoyed this guide, or found it helpful, please remember to bookmark us at LearntoRaid.com, subscribe to us on YouTube, Blip TV, and follow us on Justin TV and Twitter. As always, thanks for checking us out here at Learn to Raid, and we'll see you at the next boss.
I wasn't feeling so good. I just didn't feel like playing anymore. So I went home, and I got all comfy and cozy and all scrunched up in front of my phonograph. And I sat there and I closed my eyes and listened to all the sweet